Another coaching change for Toronto FC, the opening of fan voting for the All-Star game, and things get serious for the U.S. national team next on The Daily. Hey everybody, happy Friday and welcome to another edition of The Daily. I'm Nick Furshaw here with Andrew Wiebe, and we're going to start off with the big news for Toronto FC. Aron, the head coach, on his way out for the Reds. Paul Mariner, the director of player personnel, in charge now, the 7th head coach in franchise history for Toronto FC. All of this came down on Thursday. Friday morning now, I think the feedback is the same now as it was on Thursday. We expected this thing to happen. Yeah, a major announcement comes out. Toronto FC says, we're going to do something, and immediately people started turning to Aron and what his status would be with the club. In the end, he just couldn't get it done in the regular season. You saw Toronto FC win 2 Canadian championships, go to the quarterfinals in the CONCACAF Champions League, but when you win 7 out of 44 games in the regular season, you're not going to last too long, and Aron did not make it through 18 months. Paul Mariner, though, a solid candidate, a guy who's been mentioned in MLS coaching jobs in the past, obviously an assistant with Steve Nicol for all those years in New England, head coach at Plymouth in England for a short spell after leaving the Revs. But he said they're not going to change much. Something has to change, though, when it comes to results. And the turnaround's going to come pretty quickly here. Toronto FC, they're at Sporting Kansas City on June 16th. That's going to be Mariner's debut, and then a short turnaround again. June 20th at the Houston Dynamo. Things coming very fast now for Toronto FC. Well, big news for the AT&T MLS All-Star Game in July. The fan voting actually opens up on Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern. You can log on to MLSsoccer.com, find out all the details, as well as all 114 players who are vying for your vote. 6 players per team, Andrew, and a lot of good competition for that game against Chelsea. Yeah, a lot of good competition, and across both positions. Of course, Dwayne Rosario is going to be one that a lot of people remember, 2006 game winner against Chelsea. So he's there. All the other big names are there, but of course, these are not the only guys that have the chance to get on the team. The fans will vote in that first 11. The person that gets the most text votes will get in. The commissioner also has 2 picks, and then Peter Novak can kind of shape his roster the way he wants. Any player that gets at least 2 votes from their fellow players will be in that pool, and from there Novak can choose and try to build the roster to take down Chelsea. It all starts now, building towards the AT&T MLS All-Star Game in July down there at PPL Park in Chester, Pennsylvania. 2 guys that could be on that All-Star roster: Vancouver Whitecaps defender Jay DeMerit and Brad Davis, the left wing from the Houston Dynamo. They're going to go at it on Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern on MLS Live out in Vancouver, the only MLS game on the docket this weekend, but it's a good one. 2 teams vying for playoff spots. Yeah, 2 teams I think that are looking at the second half of the season as their time to make a leap. Houston obviously had all those games on the road to start the season. Now they're back in BBVA Compass Stadium, eyeing the same type of run that Sporting KC made last year, trying to get that momentum going when it really matters in the middle and late parts of the season. Then on Vancouver's side, we saw some comments the other day from their leadership. They're really looking forward to having Barry Robson in the fold. Think that that leadership maybe is the difference between some of the draws and losses they've had this year and turning those into wins. So both sides definitely in the running, but looking at the second half as a time to make their move. Good one on Sunday night out in Vancouver again. The Houston Dynamo at the Vancouver Whitecaps, 7 p.m. Eastern on MLS Live. Well, last but certainly not least, the road to Brazil 2014 begins in earnest for the United States and Canada on Friday. Both teams with their first World Cup qualifiers. Andrew, we'll start with the United States. 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. You can catch a live chat on MLSsoccer.com. They're down in Tampa, Florida, up against Antigua and Barbuda, likely the lowest ranked team in the CONCACAF region, so you have to assume the U.S. should get some points out of this one. Yeah, this is the one that they have to believe that 3 points is absolutely necessary. This is going to be the easiest fixture in the group stage. Obviously, Jamaica and Guatemala, the other 2 teams that'll be vying for that spot in the hexagonal, but a must-win situation for the Americans, and a little bit of a difficult situation as well, because not much is known about Antigua and Barbuda. You can't go get a lot of film on them. Most of their guys playing in USL Pro for the Antigua Barracudas, so maybe a little bit of insight there, but the U.S. will have to come out. You have to expect them to carry the game, and I think anything but a multi-goal victory is going to be a disappointment. Some questions here about whether Jurgen Klinsmann might tinker with his lineup a little bit. They've also got that big game at Guatemala next Tuesday. That's a tough one on the road at elevation. Should be an interesting one, but again, it all starts on Friday for the U.S. national team, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, a live chat on MLSsoccer.com. We mentioned Canada. They're also in action on Friday afternoon. They're at Cuba, 2 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet up in Canada. A tough one here for Canada going down to Cuba. You never know what to expect.
Yeah, you really don't know what to expect from the Cubans, obviously. Not a lot of people seeing their team before this all goes down. But Dwayne Rosario with some strong words saying nothing is acceptable but 3 points for the Canadians at this point. He's in the stage of his career where this is likely his last chance at a World Cup, staying with a lot of their other guys. But a good young core coming up. They'll expect to win here too, but remains to be seen. Difficult conditions in Cuba.
Busy times. World Cup qualifying kicks off on Friday. In honor of that, the latest edition of Extra Time Radio came out on Thursday, and we spoke to Herculez Gomez, the striker for the U.S. national team, and some good insight about what this first game and that Guatemala game mean for the U.S. national team. You can catch that on iTunes and Buzzsprout for complete coverage of MLS and the U.S. national team and the Canadian national team, and how to vote for the 2012 AT&T MLS All-Star Game. Log on to MLSsoccer.com.